Okay, welcome everybody. Jay Smith here. Going to do another comparison. Got the JPX900 Forged against the JPX919 Forged. I've done the JPX900 Hot Metal against the JPX919 Hot Metal last week, and you asked for this one. So, right, we've got the chat going. Hopefully we can get the chat up on the old screen. It's always hard to try and get this one done. It's always the pain in my backside of everything. So I'll just see if I can get this quickly on here. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, we will. I've still got the chat down here, so I can quite easily just read it out. But we're going to do a live comparison, no different to what we did last week. We're going to be doing the initial bits of just chat. Come on, whether it will work or not, doesn't matter. I've got chat down here, so it's not too much of a problem. Right, pop in there. Hopefully, oh, itch. We're going to be doing these two. Don't think to see. Don't know how they'll come up on the old screen because I've got it on manual focus. So we got the 919 Forged and then the 900 Forged. So that's what we're doing. So okay, as people come in and watch, if you could just do us a favour and make sure that the just pop in there to see if the sound and quality of the audio and video is working okay. So I just want to, if there is anything, I just need to do the adjustments now rather than later on. But because I'm just using a different microphone today rather than anything else. But right, what are we going to be doing? Chat about the technology parts of this first. There's loads of it. We won't go into too much detail because if not, it'd make the video massively long. I've got the pre-record as well where I've done all the hitting, so you can see how they feel, etc. And then when it comes to the interesting numbers, now this is going to be possibly the most I don't want to say interesting because that's subjective. People find interesting different to others. But when it comes to these two clubs and the specs of these two clubs, I'll pop it up on the screen when it comes to doing the actual, like the pre-record. But there's a very, very interesting thing when it comes to this. The JPX919 Hot Metal, Forged, sorry, is 28 degrees. And the old one, the JPX900 Forged, is 27. So when you're looking at that, you've got 1 degree, you think. But when you start doing this test, you'll be able to understand why there's a big difference, and I'll go into exactly why. This part of the video, when it comes to explaining the reasons why, is the most important thing. Right, so if we've got, I'll make sure we've got going. We have got going. Someone just popped down in the chat there if you can hear me okay and if the volume and the audio is coming through. Okie dokie. Right, when it comes to the Forged, let's go the old one first, the JPX900 Forged. Now this is actually quite a successful iron for the for Mizuno. When I come to test it originally, I found that for some reason it just didn't launch how it needed to and didn't necessarily get the peak height. So therefore, when it comes to me testing it, I found, although it's very, very good, I found it a little bit non-functional when it comes to peak height and then descent angle. Obviously, this is a 6 iron. You're looking at going into a certain angle into a green and hopefully stopping. Hopefully. When I'd done my original test on this, I didn't find that. And to be fair, a lot of other people didn't as well. So it's not just me. A lot of other YouTube reviewers had the exact same thing. But in this thing with the 900, you got the undercut, massive undercut cavity. And see if I can flick over onto a different screen. So you can be able to see, yeah, there we go. And then if I can get on there somewhere where you can see like the 919 and open that up. See if that works. It's a bit big. Bear with, get that a bit smaller. You don't want it that big, do you? That's massive. See, production on the fly. But yeah, see, that's the old, is that the old one? Hope so. Yeah, it looks like a massive undercut cavity. The undercut cavity was good, the idea, because it enabled them to rip the old CG right far back and low to try as best they can do to make it launch. And bear in mind, these are cranked slightly. These aren't exactly what you call traditional lofts. Traditional lofts for a 6-iron was, given or take, you're looking around about 31 degrees back in the day, if not 32. As time's gone on, it's got cranked and cranked and cranked more. Yeah, it's gone crazy in my view. So if I was to show that one again so you can see, hopefully that will work. But they've tried to make the toe and heel weighting on this, so if you've got mishits, that's the whole idea. You've got perimeter weighting to try and make it a little bit more forgiving. When it comes to the JPX919, I might have to do the same thing again on this one, because I'm thinking it's going to be massive. So I might have to just quickly, make that smaller again, so you guys can see just that there. You don't want me to get in the way too much, but there you go. Completely different. Now they've made the aesthetics side of the JPX919 Forged very, very important. You can see with this little thing down the side there, I'm not quite sure if you'll be able to see it or not. The back on these things look lovely. If it's a hot metal, if it's the Forged or it's the Taut, it doesn't matter. They've put a lot of attention to detail to make this look very, very good. But the undercut cavity doesn't look as big. However, the power frame, that little idea, what they've done with the toe and the heel, they've tried to make the toe shots a lot more forgiving, and to be fair, it has worked. Now, this is 1 degree weaker. 1 degree weaker. So if you guys can pop any bits and pieces up on the chat if you want to ask anything while I'm doing this quickly before we go into the pre-record, by all means go for it. So the 919 would potentially be more forgiving from off-center hits when it comes to the toe. Be interesting to see when you test it, because I did. But what we're going to do now, because it's now 7 minutes, I'm going to go pop over to the pre-recorded bit where you can see how I react to the hitting of it, because you'll be able to see here, you've got to stay with this, guys, because there's a very, very important message that comes from this. It's important that you see why there's a difference between these clubs. So I'm going to pop over to the pre-record now, and hopefully you'll be able to enjoy this little segment, and then we'll get into the reasons what's going on when I come back. Okay, out in the hitting bay now. So we're at night time. It's dark outside, got the flight lights on, got the LED lights on as well. So apologise for the poor light when it comes to the camera if you're going to see me as a silhouette. But yeah, right, we've got the 900 Forged and the 919 Forged, same shaft, KBS Tour 90 stiff. So before the shaftoids go, it is the same shaft, same length, same number of clubs, 6 irons, and same lie, or very, very similar lie. Loft wise, I'll put up on the screen just so you can see just how close they are. The whole idea of this is just to get an idea compared to each other what they look like. Now instantly, if you've seen my original JPX900 Forged video that I did September 2016, good thing with Mizuno and other manufacturers like them that they don't push out 3 sets of irons a year. But the top line's lovely and thin on the JPX900 Forged. I did like that. The only thing I didn't like was the blade length. The blade length was just a bit too long, and the sole thickness is just a normal medium sole, which looks quite nice. But if you look down by the ball, there does seem to be a lot of blade there for a Mizuno. And it's not necessarily a game improvement club. It's not like a proper hot metal. So, but yeah, I didn't really like that on there. So we're just going to go hit this, just to get an idea of the feel of what this, because it's got boron in it. Bit of tech, get the ball speed up. But let's see how they flight, because if you hadn't seen my old one, they did flight a little bit lower than what I would like. Nice hit. Not too bad at all, but again, not overly huge. Right, little one out to the right. Wasn't too bad, but it was a little one out to the right. 175. Oh yeah, there's the peak height 25. Now, that's medium. For a range ball, they launch low, spin more. Reason being because they're restricted, because we obviously want to keep them in the park. So we will do proper testing when it comes to my premium ball Vice Pro on the quad to get an idea how it really performs. But the feel-wise, it is soft, yes it is, but it's not bladey Mizuno MP18 soft. It's kind of soft-ish, if that makes any sense.
again, not bad hit. Nice down the target line. What's that? 23 yards up in the air. Yeah, it's not very high. That's my only problem. Now that's launching low. They are range balls. That is launching quite a bit low though. It's interesting. I might have to find about. Look at the old. I'll put all the numbers up on the screen so you can actually see all the data. I'd have to flick screen to see what the head data's doing. But do last one. Feels nice though. You get them anywhere near the middle and they do feel nice. So last one before we swap over. It does feel nice. There's nothing wrong with these clubs at all in that field. 174. So 175, 176, 174. That's going quite a long way for a range ball. These are 6 irons, but yeah. Spinning at 6.4 on average. As if by magic, swapped over 919 Forged. Now, because this has got a shorter blade length, instantly it looks a bit nicer to my eye. If you're someone who likes real estate, it won't look very nice at all compared to the 900, because the 900 Forged was a bit bigger when it comes to its blade length, or its perceived blade length. The top line on this one is a fraction thicker. If it was, I'd have to go get a vernier to actually measure properly. But the difference in the soles on this one, there's a tiny chamfer, but it's basically a flat sole. The 900 Forge has got like a double chamfer to it. It's kind of curved off like a little U, where this one's a lot more flatter. But there's a bit more relief as such on the 900 Forge's sole. Turf interaction, the classic. Right, I'm just going to go hit this one and give you an idea of the feel. Now, again, this has got some boron. We love a bit of boron when it comes to Mizuno game improvement irons. Well, I shouldn't really say game improvement, but their JPX line is a game improvement iron. So I like the squatty look already. Let's have a go at hitting 3 more on here. Oh, I'll tell you what though, equal hit, but higher flight. 28. So I'll pop on the screen here. So you got 24 on average out of those 3 hits from the 900 Forged, and now we've got 28 out of the bat. Let's go hit another one. Feel wise, no difference. Yeah, no difference at all. I would, if I hadn't seen the flight. Now these are the same grips, same shafts, apart from the slightly squatty blade length. If you just swapped them in between, I didn't even see. Apart from the flight, obviously I would hit and see the flight, I could tell, but the feel of it, no difference at all. Absolutely not a jot. Very, very nice feel. Just a little bit harder than a good old-fashioned blade. Again, 28. Let's go see this one. Last one, because I actually do quite like hitting these JPXs. Oh, it's going left a bit. It's not a bad shot, but it's going left a touch. Yeah, 26 peak height, not quite as much because it's got a bit drawy on that one. 169 total, 8.5 yards left. But okay, peak height 26, so it's not peaked as much as I would like. Yet it's still peaked higher than even the highest one I hit with the 900 Forged. Now, I haven't looked at the head data. I'll pop the head data down below. But obviously there's a reason why these are not going exactly where I'd like them to go when it comes to peak height. We'll have to look at that one. Anyway, we'll discuss that one back in the studio.
Okay, right, as you can see there, quite a big difference in peak height. Now there is a reason for that. Now with the head data, I popped up on the screen so you could see. Everything's transparent. I don't want at any point, any review that I do, for there to be any reason for anyone to say, well, you didn't show this, you didn't show that. Hi Jay, could you change the feel and height with a Can you change the feel and height with a ball? Bridgestone E5 urethane cover and flies high by design. Dimple pattern. Okay, when it comes to dimple patterns, hi Neil, it's marginal to say the least when it comes to dimple patterns. By the massive different, you are the biggest equation when it comes to peak height, descent angle, everything to do with flight. The ball will be the tiniest amount. Can make a difference, it can make a difference, but it's relatively small. Right, the reason why there was a big difference in not just launch angle, but if you looked at the head data, dynamic loft delivered. Excuse me, drink. After this test, I wanted to know why there was so much of a difference. So the first thing I did was, so right, I'm going to get this one loft and light, and obviously lie angle the same, well, within reason the same, that's not the issue. It's the loft. And I thought to myself, because there's only 1 degree supposed difference, so I should only see 1 degree difference between the JPX900 Forged and the JPX919 Forged. There should only be 1 degree less when it comes to the 900 Forged. But I was seeing 2.5 to 3, depending on what the data is. So I went and got them loft checked, and there is a difference. Now, it was like, what's going on here? So I spoke to Mizuno, and I asked them the question, why there's supposed to be 1 degree difference, why is there actually 3 degrees up to difference between the two clubs when there shouldn't be? And after having a long conversation with them, basically they're saying that because obviously the JPX900 now has been out for 2 years, September or August 2016 they came out. These ones are the DNA set, the ones that we use to fit with all the time. And with the amount of bashing that they've had over the period of time, they move because they're forged irons. They move, and depending on who's hit them, and from your point of view, when you're using your clubs, if they're forged or cast or whatever, but if you're forged and you're someone who hits the ground hard, your angle attack's quite hard, and you obviously practice off mats, these will move in lie angle and also loft. And they've found that when it comes to pitching wedges, they can move easily 3 degrees, depending obviously on the player bashing them into the ground. So the reasons why, when we done the check, was the fact that the JPX900 Forged was actually de-lofted because of the bashing into the ground. So there is a story here. Now, one, there is a story because of the fact that, yes, they are ineffectively cranked because of users over the period of 2 years using in custom fits, bang, 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 bang. Now, when it comes to the actual performance, there is a story here. Mizuno are making this big claim about the JPX919. The JPX919, the ball speed's increased, it's a crazily explosive club, it still retains feel, etc, etc. Now, when it comes to the numbers, let's just go on to the numbers side. So I'll just go transition over to me being, oh, wrong one. Is that right one? Get rid of that. Oh yeah, it's because I didn't put the, I've got to take that one off. There we go. That's better. Had the wrong one on clicked. So anyway, if we go to the JPX900 first, the normal one, the normal 900 Forged. Right, and I just pop that one up on the screen there. Might have to move out the way a little bit, but you can see there, down there, yeah, 129 miles an hour, 129 miles an hour ball speed. Because it's 129 miles an hour ball speed, you've got to remember that. That's a very important thing. 129 miles an hour ball speed. Launching at 14.5. This is the JPX900. Remember the old one, 14.5. It was starting off right, had a little bit of cut, there's a reasons for that. 4.4 spin, think of that one as member, and 31 peak height. Now 31 for me is not very high when it comes to a 6 iron. I'd want mine to peak up higher than that, but although it is carrying at 193, but it's descending at 43.5 degrees. It's not that 45 degree angle, so it's not going to be going into that green and potentially stopping. It's going to be the 193 carry, and it's going to bound on a certain amount, and that's not what I want. Don't like that. So what I'm going to do now, I'll swap over so you can see the head data. There you go, 94 miles an hour, there. There's your little smash factor or efficiency number, what you want to call it. I was down by 4.1 over there. I'm going to run out of arm length. Yeah, see, goes out of the screen. My club path was 1.4 to the right, and my face was closing to a path, yet it was cutting. Reason why it's cutting, because these aren't fit for me, so the lie angle's down, so the loft is pointing right, hence the reason why it cuts. Had this before in the last video. Hope you guys understand now the importance of getting custom fit for your lie, because it can counteract what you do face to path. Delivered loft, right? 19.9, 20 degrees, delivered lofts, obviously de-lofting, right? And I was 2 mil toe, 4 mil low, yeah, on the strike on average. Right, so if we go over to see the flights, yeah, let's just flick over to see the flights. You can see there, I mean, they're going a long way, yes they are, but considering they're going 193 yards, it's not too bad whatsoever. Now, shall we go over to the 919? Let's go over to the 919, and now the 900 was launching at 14.5. This is launching at 16.4. Yet it's still 129 miles an hour ball speed. Now, Mizuno is saying that they have made a massive increase, or 4 or so miles an hour increase in ball speed. Yet the ball speed is exactly the same as the 900 Forged. Why? The 919 is faster. It's the 900, which, because it's been bashed over time and it's been artificially cranked, it's actually stronger than it really should be. It's like nearly 2.5 or so degrees stronger than the 919 in its fresh state. So considering the 900 is 2.5 degrees stronger, which is more than half a club, the 919 is still getting the same ball speed as a cranked 900. That's how important this is. The 919 is such... I'd not really jump on the bandwagon when it comes to ball speed increases, what the manufacturers say, but I've got to give it to them. When it comes to Mizuno, they have done a very, very good job. Anyway, so 16.4 launch, out to the right. Again, slight baby fade. There's a reason for that. But 5.1 spin, 4.4 to 5.1. It's spinning more. 35 peak height. It's going higher. 189. It's only losing 4 yards. Bearing in mind, the 919 is fresh. The 900 is cranked because of the hits it keeps on having over time in the mat, and there's only 4 yards in it. So you put them like for like. If you start cranking bits and pieces so they're exactly like for like, you'll be able to see that the 919 vastly outperforms the 900. Now, I'd like to get someone from Mizuno, or the really, really scientific guys, to explain exactly how they've done it. Obviously, variable phase thickness and blah, 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 which they have done, and they've done a good job doing that, but they've still retained the feel. And then it's descending at 47 degrees, 46.8. That is functional for me. 189. I cannot stress enough how good a club that JPX919 Forged is. Not taking anything away from the 900. It was still a very, very good club, but the 919 and 900 hot metal from last week, apart from the feel, there wasn't really anything different when it comes to performance. When it comes to the 900 and 919 Forged, yes, there is. There's a big difference in performance. If we go, just so we're nice and honest when it comes to looking at the head data, 94 miles an hour again. There you go. I'm not swinging any faster. So before the guys saying, oh, no, I'm not swinging any faster whatsoever. My delivery angles are very, very similar. But you can see the lie over there is out, hence the reason why it's fading. And 3 mil toe, 1 mil low. The strikes are very, very, on average, comparable. You see there I dart around a little bit because I'm a human being, so I will move. But on average, they are very, very close. Right, let's just get the all flights in here that you can see. So you get the odd occasional spread. But bearing in mind, my ellipse of deviation is going that way, not that way. The whole idea of that way, left and right, is you're a human being, you're always going to be left and right. The whole idea of consistency is to hit that number. Try and hit that number that you're trying to carry every single time. If you can do that, if you can be pin high all the time, you're not going to be too far off. Tiger Woods said that, I think, if I had to go back. But yeah. So when it comes to, let's go back to the normal view. Let's go back onto there. Transition. There we go. We're back. Right. So when it comes to the 900 against the 919, what was I do? Would I have, if I had the 900s, would I look at changing? Yes, I probably would do, if I'll be honest. Looking at that, the feel is exactly the same. However, the performance is different. It's not like the hot metal from last week, that the fact that the performance was basically nearly identical. It was the feel that was so much better. It's very hard to try to quantify exactly how much money you should spend on feel. But when it comes on performance, that's the difference. It's performing much, much better than its old one. And Mizuno have put their little magic in there. Bear in mind, they take 2 years to do this kind of replacement. So this message here of this video is so, so important that you need to understand. It's the fact that if you've got forged clubs, you need to get them checked every single 6 months to a year, depending on how often you play, because you keep on practicing, you keep on hitting them against the ground. Forged clubs, especially soft forged clubs, will move. That's the important thing. I'm going to go look at my phone now, because I'll be able to keep up to date what's going on with the chat easier. Great viewing from the comparison. These 919 Forged are one of several on my shopping list. Offset minimum amounts on these 919 Forged. Yes, actually, to be fair, it's not too bad. I've got the... No, wrong one. I got that one there. And that looks... Well, I'll tell you what. That's about offset. If that's a really good camera angle, if you want to see the offset of the 6-iron, there's not a lot whatsoever at all. It's a really, really honest amount of offset. I actually quite like the look of these things. It's a bit more squatty in the blade length of the 900, and the thickness of the top line is so minuscule. I can't even tell the difference. It's like a vernier you'd need to try and work out. But it's just cleaner lines. But it looks a lot nicer. It performs very much so better than the old one. Feels exactly the same. So if you like the feel, then yeah. So when it comes to a conclusion to this one, there is a massive conclusion difference. The 919 Forged is a much better club than the old 900. It's not taken away from the old 900. If you're someone who delivered a lot of dynamic loft, the 900 was great because it could control your flight. It could stop you from barreling up too high. So looking at that, yes, I would change if I had to. Thinking about changing, I would definitely be looking at the 919 Forged. The message in there when it comes to custom fit, or even when it comes to the fact that you've got forged irons, make sure you keep checking them. If you don't check them, then you could be playing with different lofted irons all the way through the bag. So you've got to make sure you check your lofts 6 months to a year, depending on how often you play. If you've got cast clubs like pings, etc., they are like rocks, so they don't generally need to be moved around as much. But forged clubs do. So, okay, if you haven't got anything else, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the video there, and I'm going to then start another video up of the Q&A. So if you guys that are watching now, and the new guys that are going to come along in a little while, I am going to stop it now, and then I'm going to be then redoing a live Q&A. So if you want to join me for that one, you're more than welcome. We're going to be answering all your questions. So I hope you liked it. If you did, click the like button. Pop on there, get the old subscribe, click on there as well. Get the bell icon on as well. So if you click the bell icon, that'll notify you when I release a new video. We're doing a lot of live